Hi guys, welcome to my show. My name is Amy Shine, and this is my 15-minute weekly podcast on Blog Talk Radio, and I'm also putting these videos up on YouTube. So this week's topic is anxiety or awareness. and So anxiety is feelings of restlessness, nervousness, those shaky feelings you may get inside at the pit of your stomach, where you find it difficult to breathe, or you get that nervousness, the restlessness, and just overall, kind of for me, I have experienced anxiety and still do sometimes, is just a lot of shaking. And my stomach gets very kind of sick to the pit of my stomach, and a lot of shaky in my body, and it's like all my insides of my body is shaking. So I wanted to talk to this week about it because I used to, not even realize I had anxiety, first off. I used to just have a lot of this stuff going on, and how I dealt with it a lot was to go out for a run or to do some movement, which also really helps me. And I just started to look at it. And so anxiety, I'm an access consciousness facilitator. And one of the things we talk about in access consciousness classes is that anxiety is actually an intense level of awareness. Okay, so what is awareness? So awareness is actually information. So when you come into the world, you're this little psychic little SpongeBob, and you're aware of everybody else's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. But as a child, you don't really have a point of view about it. You're just aware of everything. And as you get older, you become more programmed, more conditioned, and you go to school and you're told this about yourself, and you start to take on everything as yours, and you start to buy that everything you feel is yours. So today I was sitting on the couch and I was feeling relaxed, and then all of a sudden my body started to shake. And by my body shake, I mean just that shaky thing in my stomach. And that's how I kind of experience anxiety in my body. And there was somebody next to me on the couch, and at first I was like, okay, I'm so used to this feeling. I just kind of okay, there it is, whatever that is, and I just kind of continue to do whatever I'm doing and kind of breathe into my body. And then I noticed the person on the couch next to me is very fidgety and kind of angsty. And so I asked him, what's going on? Are you okay? And, he's got some irritation in his back. And so basically he's feeling anxious and irritable and angsty, and I'm sitting next to him, and I'm this little psychic SpongeBob that just soaks up other people's anxiety and anxiousness, and I'm sitting there and I can feel it all in my body. So it's how do you deal with that, right? So it's okay, I have a couple of choices. I can just ignore it and carry on, or I can pretend it's mine and buy it as mine and talk about how anxious I am and how fucked up I am and what a mess I am, and go into how I need help and I need counseling and I need all this stuff. And by the way, that's what I did for about 10 years, that I was the one who's fucked up and I was the one with all this stuff in my body, and oh my God, I needed all this help, and it never really got me anywhere until I started acknowledging how aware it was. So I went in, I made myself a bath, and I went into the bath, and my body was really starting to shake now. And I sat down first on the floor, and I actually just started breathing into my body. So that's one of the tools that I'd like to share with you that really helps me. It's breathing into my body, literally just inhaling, exhaling, and just focusing on my breath. And then as I do that, I ask, okay, so truth, is this mine? And I ask, okay, is this mine? This energy right now coming up in my body, is this mine? Is this someone else's? Or is this something else? And I go with this kind of lighter, heavy feeling. So it's is this mine was really heavy? So that's no. Is this someone else's was really heavy? So it's no. And then I was is this something else's? And that was light, and my whole body lightened up. So that was yes. So I was okay, so something else. So then I asked, was it another lifetime? I got no. And then I asked, is it the earth? And I got yes. And it lightened up. And I was okay, so it's the earth requiring a contribution from me. And I got yes. So I was okay. So I laid there and I said, okay, so body, all this energy we're perceiving right now, can we actually dissipate and release this energy to the earth? So it's like, I started to see how, okay, so anxiety is an energy, right? And it's an energy that I'm super, super aware of. So I grew up around people who had a lot of anxiety. So it's an energy I really know. So the minute I walk past someone with anxiety, I immediately soak it all up, right? So now I actually have that energy in my world, in my body. So how do I deal with that? So the thing is, it's actually a capacity that I have, and I have to start acknowledging, actually, I have a capacity to soak up anxiety, right? So how do I deal with that? It's a capacity. So if I didn't see it as wrong and I didn't see it as right, I would ask, okay, so how can I gift this to the earth? How can I contribute this to the earth, right? Because the earth is here. The earth doesn't have a point of view either. It's like here, ready. And it's like, so I have a capacity to actually clear this from my body by gifting it to the earth, and the earth can dissipate and release it too. So one of the tools I really like to use is, okay, body, can we dissipate and release this to the earth? So that I'm not locking it into my body. And that's what I tend to do a lot. It's like I pick up on someone else's anxiety and then I have it in my body and then I contract it into my stomach or solar plexus. And now I'm sitting there shaking, wondering what's wrong with me and finding it difficult to concentrate. And I'm like all a mess. And whereas if I actually just relax, breathe, ask as well, this is another tool I use, I ask for my allowance to totally exceed my awareness. Because what's happening is I'm having an overload of awareness from other people and other people's bodies. And I don't have allowance for it. I don't have space for it. So another exercise I use is, okay, I sit there and I go, okay, right now, and we can do it right now. Ask your body and your being to expand out beyond the four corners of this room. Cool. Now expand out beyond the city you're in. Cool. Now expand out beyond the country you're in. Now expand out into the skies, over the oceans, into the clouds, across the universe, across the other planets, the other galaxies, and expand out into all the ethers, spaces, time, dimensions, realities. And from this space, look at the energy of anxiety, the energy that's going on in your body. So you are not your feelings. You are not your emotions. You are not your body. You're actually much greater than the body you have. So it's like your body, when you ask your body and your being to expand, you actually expand beyond, way beyond the size of your physical body. See, we're not just our physical body. We're an infinite being as well. But when we make what we're feeling in our body greater than us, the being, we contract it into our body, and then that creates anxiety and restlessness and irritability and anxiousness. So it's like the minute I actually got us all to expand, my whole body relaxed, my whole being. You can even see my speech has slowed down. And it's like you are actually not your anxiety, and you're not actually the effect of it anymore. It's like, okay, it's that easy, it's that quick. Ask, who does this belong to? Is this mine, someone else's, something else? Return to sender. If it's someone else, if it's something else, ask your body to dissipate and release the energy to the earth. You have a capacity with this energy. So dissipate and release it to the earth. And then if it's still very intense, ask for your allowance to totally exceed your awareness. The more allowance you have, the easier it's going to be. And then ask for your body and your being to expand out beyond the building you're in, beyond the room, beyond the city, beyond the country, into the skies, over the universe, into the other universes, so that you are not at the effect of anybody else's thoughts, ideas, or emotions. Whew, how much easier is that? It's like, what if anxiety isn't wrong? What if it's an intense awareness that you're having? And what if awareness isn't wrong? What if you just start asking questions? What's right about me that I'm not getting? What's right about this that I'm not getting? And if this is a capacity, what would it take for me to use it to my advantage? How many people could you contribute to with anxiety? How many people could come to you for sessions? And another thing that's really good for people with anxiety, and it has been for me too, is getting your bars run. If you've never heard about it, it's called Access Bars. It's a light touch system of different points on your head. And you lie on a massage table and somebody touches all these different points. And what it does is it starts to dissipate and release the thought patterns, the feelings, the emotions that you're holding in your body that aren't belong to you. And it gives you more space. And that's something that's really important for someone who picks up on a lot of anxiety. You're a psychic SpongeBob. You absorb other people's anxiety. So you're going to have to find ways to dissipate and release it, to change it, to move it from your body and not stick it and contract it in your body. And that's what I felt today when I was picking up on the anxiety from my partner. It was like I was contracting in my body, and then all of a sudden I wanted to just cry and just like, you know, like turn into this like victim and baby, and like my life is so pathetic and I'm so bad and terrible and fucked up. And it's like, what if you're not that fucked up? What if you're just incredibly aware? You may have grown up in a house with someone who had a lot of anxiety. That person may have grown up in a house who had a lot of anxiety. You know, it doesn't matter. We're not looking to blame anyone here. We're just looking at it. Maybe an energy you're super aware of, you're hyper vigilant of. So when you're around it, you got to acknowledge 99% of the time it's not yours. And it's an awareness you're having. And the question is going to be the antidote that changes it. Is this mine, someone else, something else? Return to sender, and then ask for your allowance to totally exceed your awareness. And breathing exercises can really, really help. And also the expansion exercise, even if you just ask to expand greater than your body, greater than anything that's going on. And then when you expand, bring in the breath. And then maybe look at moving your body if movement is required. For me, a lot of times I require movement. And then sometimes I can just do that simple exercise like I did right now, the expansion, and just change my whole world. 90 seconds. So thanks for listening, guys. If you would like me to talk more about this or any other topic, please feel free to comment underneath this video or send me a message on Facebook. I am Amy, A-M-Y, Shine, S-H-I-N-E on Facebook. I have a public profile, and I have Shine Movement's Facebook page too. And feel free to reach out to me. And if you're looking for more information on Access the Bars, you can look up www.theaccessbars.com. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye.